Welcome to techCast, the podcast that quenches curiosity, powered by QNA Marcom. techCast, where we deep dive into the exciting world of technology, bringing you the latest trends, innovations, and thought-provoking discussions. Join us on this exciting journey as we explore the boundless possibilities of technology.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of techCast powered by QNA Marcom. My name is Swapna Subramani and I'm your host for today. We have a very interesting guest to speak to today, and it is in the financial risk and governance space. So this is one episode to definitely tune into. So we have Mr. Alok Tuteja, who is the president of ISACA, as well as the head of governance, risk and compliance at Actia. Hello, Mr. Alok. Welcome to the podcast today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me today.
It's a pleasure. So as we gear up for the Middle East Payment Summit, there are a lot of conversations to be had around governance, risk, compliance, payment security, and more. But before we dive into that, can you just tell us a little bit about your journey so far and your journey within ISACA and how it has helped shape you professionally as well?
Right. Actually, I came across ISACA first time in 2001 when I was with KPMG and they asked me to do a CISA certification. And that's how I came to know ISACA. I passed my certification in 2001 and then I associated with ISACA for briefly as a member for some time. When I moved to Dubai, and the Dubai chapter was very active, so I became member of Dubai chapter and the part of the board of the ISACA UAE chapter in 2003. Since then, the ISACA's journey for me was very transforming. I have contributed and ISACA has contributed into my career a lot. The ISACA, from being an EDP auditor association or IT auditor association later stage, transformed into IT governance, IT risk and cyber security forum to network, to have certification in that domain. So I also earned a lot of certification of ISACA later on in these domains, plus contributed. I became an author of COBIT 5 for risk. Nice. So during this journey, I learned and also I gave back to society. ISACA has, contributed into my life quite significant.
Nice. That's amazing. And what are some of the key changes, in security, in technology that you have seen over the years, as part of ISACA?
Right. As a part of ISACA, as I said, that we were focusing more on internal controls. So COBIT, our parent framework or patent framework, initially was IT controls framework. So that's why we could call it COBIT as a full name used to write Control Objective for Information Technology. Later on, we stopped writing this full form because COBIT evolved to support IT governance, cyber security, IT risk management, and IT compliance. Today we do also privacy through COBIT. So now COBIT became overarching framework for governance, risk, compliance, and IT delivery, service delivery. Now it integrates all services into one. Now boardroom started using not only purely governance, not related to any technology, in there for governance, how to segregate governance from management. Now, this transformation journey has seen in ISACA's branding also. In 60s, we named it as EDP Association, EDP Auditors Association. Then we used to use our full name, Information System Audit and Control Association, because we are doing audits and controls. Later on, we stopped using these acronyms, these full names. Now we are acronym ISACA, keeping our brand. And we say that it's a governance and risk IT association which helps in learning, networking, and a lot of certification to help. Our recent certification are like in cyber security and more in privacy.
Okay. So it is quite a journey, right? From being like just a regulatory more function to, of course, governance, risk and compliance, and I like how the branding has also kind of changed with using the full form to the acronym, but of course maintaining the core values of the organization. That's amazing. So recently I had an opportunity also to interview the gentleman, the regional MD of PCI DSS. So what is your view on the PCI DSS version 4.0 and how do you think that is going going to impact organizations, and how how well do you see the members of ISACA taking to those standards as well?
Right. So PCI before 3.2 to 4, there is a significant transformation.
Yes.
What I was talking about, ISACA has took that journey. PCI also have taken the similar journey.
Mm-hmm.
The initial was more prescriptive, how to implement. Now it's giving more guidance, and management has more freedom to implement.
Right.
Previous was like kind of from compliance end of it, once at a point of time compliance. Today you can do compliance, continuous monitoring. So continuously do compliance. So now what the challenge organization would face in compliance to 4, one, it gives freedom. So when it gives freedom, you have to have your security architecture built in by yourself.
Yeah.
And that challenge helps a lot to our industry, especially that there is a time to, implement compliance in together. Mm-hmm. So now a lot of challenges, but as well as opportunity for members of ISACA and the industry to, while implementing this, to have continuous engagement in compliance. Now also encryption standard changes. So that also, now to our members, what we do is for any standards, even they're not part of ISACA like PCI, we do a lot of networking workshops. There now for us, the next year would be more PCI oriented workshops for our members to get benefit of. And what I see is the new framework will not only enhance security more, it will also help members to contribute and learn more and implement accordingly. So for us, that will be a great change, and it sync with ISACA's philosophy also evolving. So that's great, continuous monitoring.
Yeah, that's great. And you touched upon how you support the members as well. So as members of ISACA, how else do you kind of, it's a rapidly evolving tech landscape, right? So there is a lot of hand-holding required, because sometimes a lot of the organizations are lost. And there is, all these standards coming, all these protocols, regulations, compliance frameworks, and so on. So as ISACA, like, how do you kind of, hand-hold organizations within the rapidly evolving tech landscape?
Right. So what we do is we normally call it a CP sessions, or continuous professional education sessions, and these are, we call it networking and education session. We invite one pronounced speaker in that domain. Like let's say we are doing in new PCI standard of 4, the DSS standard 4, we'll do one CP session there. One specialist comes and members attend that workshop, and they learn how to implement their journey. In that forum, we also bring a lot of consultants who are ready to help organizations to build that. So they're a kind of a meeting point of members who need to implement in their organization and consultant, plus our members who are into industry who also already implemented. They share their experiences during this workshop. So it becomes quite an interesting workshop where people can learn and implement. Plus at ISACA headquarters, every time a new standard comes of PCI, we do kind of a mapping of what is in COBIT, which can help this particular requirement of PCI implement. So whosoever has already implemented COBIT, they can use that as leverage that kind of benefit. So this is another advantage we have for our members. Yeah.
Okay. And I think it sounds fantastic, right? Like all the collaboration that is happening within ISACA. Overall, can you share anything, exciting that is going to happen within ISACA that you're particularly excited about when, looking onwards and looking towards the future?
Right. So ISACA, we have, apart from that monthly CP meeting, what we do, we also have our annual, we call it event, which we used to name it before ISAFE. ISAFE, again, was an acronym of information security, and basically we call it audit, security, and then we used to call it forensic, and then the emerging technologies. Okay. So in these topics, we used to bring in this workshop. Now we rebranded this ISAFE and we are naming it the ISACA Congress.
Okay.
It happens across Middle East, and then we host it in UAE chapter. And in this year, the exciting is that majorly new technology, which is like more of emerging technology on AI. How AI will help in PCI 4 implementation or such we normally talking about this year. Robotics, machine learning, AI, and the new standard how AI can help in implementation or to compliance continually. That will be our this year's theme. So
that sounds very exciting. That sounds very exciting. So overall, I think you have seen quite a bit of shift within the technology landscape, over the past couple of decades. So, and it keeps changing, right? Like we had never even, heard of like AI, machine learning and all before, and now it's a different situation. 10 years later, there'll be something else that, we wouldn't have, thought of. So, what would be like your one advice based on your long inspiring career within the industry, within regulation, governance, compliance and so on? What would be your one advice to companies who are kind of grappling with adopting new technology while maintaining the risk and compliance, while managing security, and it gets overwhelming, right, for a lot of companies? So what would be your one advice to say that, okay, fine, I've seen like different winds of technologies come and go, but what is the bottom line when it comes to organizations for maintaining that kind of security ethics and governance standards?
See, my advice, looking at so many years. So normally, once I had a long time back on the IoT related subject and a conference, a Chartered Accountants Association. So for them, they saw that future that is coming in is very overarching for them or very surprising for them. So I made at the end the statement, what I've seen in IT happening over this period of time, if you see this is impossible or surprising, today evening you will go and see your cardiologist if you want to survive in future. Because the AI will change everything.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. The companies, if you see it's too difficult to implement, it's not, or you find very challenging. The only thing is that you bring all your professionals for even PCI DSS implementation, all your professional related to governance, risk, compliance, and technology into one room. They can draw a roadmap together. So integrated roadmap, working together with these professionals will solve your all problems. If you they work normally. Why these implementation fails or struggles is people work in silos. So technology department working in silos, compliance department working in silos, and that's how they implement something else and they implement something else. Otherwise, these standards are easy to implement and they are for you to comply more, for your customer to give more confidence in payment industry.
Of course.
So it's easy to implement. Only thing is you have to build a plan first, and it should be an integrated approach.
Yeah.
All departments should work together. It will work.
Yeah.
And then today technology is there to support everything.
Of course.
Not like before that we have to do many things manually and
Correct.
Today technology is there to support all implementations.
Yeah, and I think that's a very important point, right? Like collaboration and integration is key. And I think with technology, that's the thing. The moment all the layers are kind of working, unilaterally, it becomes much better than working in silos. So, great. That's all the questions that I had for you in the podcast. And thank you so much for taking out the time and speaking with us. Any parting thoughts?
Pleasure is all mine, and I wish QNA marketing for such broadcast in future. Parting thoughts is that thank you for calling ISACA in this broadcast.
Our pleasure.
Right, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. You can hear more from Mr. Alok during the Middle East Payment Security Summit and a lot more around this topic. So do stay tuned in, and thank you so much once again.
Pleasure is all mine.
Thank
you.